how you doing today? Like, share, subscribe, Cash App, $ Winston Spivey. You know, this series and these videos about, or these reports about Jeffrey Epstein, I think is really not getting a lot of play. Okay, I believe that it's getting downplay, and I believe that these videos that people are doing, including myself, are being overshadowed and are probably being shadow banned. All right, because I think for the people in the know, you know, there's already more than enough information that's out there, but I think they don't want this information to spread out, because the more of mounting pressure that from the public that the government is going to get, the more that they're going to want this stuff to come out with these doggone files. And I'd say they don't want to release that power, okay? And because there's a lot of people, a lot of important people, it's just going to just blow the top off. I'll just say the elite, you know, sphere. So, look, I want to talk about this Roy Black guy. He's a lawyer of Jeffery Epstien. This guy was found dead at 80 years old. Now, look, I don't want to try to be disrespectful to the man or to his family and all that, okay? He was married. I believe his wife was considerably younger, that she was, I understand Michael Jordan had taught her basketball, okay? But he was survived by a wife. I don't know how many kids that he had, if he had children. But look, we just gotta report the news and just have some type of analysis on the movements of what happened with his death. Now, yes, he was 80 years old. I think he was battling some illnesses and stuff, all right? But the guy was still working, all right? A little bit about the guy. He was from New York. He grew up in Connecticut and I think in Florida for a little bit, and Jamaica. And he went to University of Miami. Had got his law degree there, and he was teaching there for quite some time. He is a South Florida lawyer. South Florida, okay? Table that thought. And one of his, he had a lot of high-profile candidates. Jeffrey Epstein being one of them. I think he had some movie stars and politicians and that kind of thing. All right, but Jeffrey Epstein was one of them. Okay, it has got to my knowledge from looking at a few podcasts, Jamal, aka Jamel Reactions, Ticket TV. All right, but the information comes down from the news that he being that Jeffrey Epstein was his client, naturally he saw the list. Okay, again, with mounting pressure, you know, I'm just wondering, you know, this guy just abruptly ended up off. I know he was battling with something, but this man was working, and he was supposed to start teaching next month, August, when school starts back up for you know, the young college, I don't want to call you guys kids, but college students, you know? So I'm thinking if he had it that bad, then he probably wouldn't have been working, particularly like at 80 years old. It's what it is. All right? I just think that it's very, very creepy. You know, if you all in all, like say, you look at the movements of what's going on, all right, between the lawyers, this lawyer, the government, Roy Black ended up off. He had another lawyer. This is Jeffrey Epstein, Alex. It was like a Polish name that he knew the list, but he couldn't say anything. And I think if he does, then it may prove things fatal for him. Okay? I think he knew it, but he kept his mouth shut. All right? Now look what's going on over here in the government with Maureen Comey. Ended up getting fired. Okay? And allegedly has something to do with the Jeffrey Epstien list. Pam Bondi, okay, right now, this is the general attorney, U.S. general attorney. They had the list a few years ago and didn't even bother to crack the list. All right. So if she had the list on her desk, then she was able to at least to skim through the files and have an idea of who's on those files. Okay. So also Ghislaine Maxwell, all right, where being that there is no files, as Donald Trump put it, then they didn't let her out. She wanted to talk. The government said she couldn't talk, and all of a sudden now she can talk, which I believe that she's only going to be told what they want her to know, okay? Or if this, well, let's say if the information becomes public, which I seriously doubt, but I think that whoever is going to hear it, and probably going to be your most important people, they're only going to hear some of the names, but not all of them, all right? It's just not going to happen, okay? But look, no disrespect. I know that people move on, but I just think that it's kind of creepy that these with the movements going on, with this guy just all of a sudden end up, deceased with all the stuff that's going on. But this is a time where, hey, people are going to be exposed. As Cat Williams says, it's a time of exposure. Wow. So, all right, that'll be all for now. Okay. Let me know what you think about the video. More content coming soon.